Hi, welcome to Stones, Scrolls, and Scriptures, a Bible study for everybody and anybody. My name is Steve Creel. I'm senior pastor at the Visalia Methodist Church in beautiful Visalia, California. I've been here for a little over 20 years. I've been in ministry for a little over 35 years. And this Bible study is a walk through Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus, a kind of slow and detailed walk through those books of the Bible. And here is the hope that I have if you are watching, and for those who do watch and participate. We're going to look at Scripture from a lot of different viewpoints using knowledge that really is being unveiled in the modern age at a record pace. So we'll use archaeology, the discoveries that they have made and are making, tremendously important for biblical studies. The biggest thing for me that archaeology brings to the table that's a benefit in understanding Scripture is they have unlocked many of the ancient languages, and they have now deciphered many of the stela and scrolls and things that they have, so that we get a very good view of the religious belief and tradition in the world surrounding Abraham and the Israelites as they go through their march with God into Canaan land, the promised land. And it is fascinating and deeply informative to understand how often what God is directing Abraham and the patriarchs and Moses and the children of Israel, what he is directing them to do and how he is directing them to live and to be, is in direct contrast, and therefore I think intentionally contrasted with the ways of religion and the beliefs of the ancient people around them. The Mesopotamians, the Assyrians, the Egyptians, all of their belief systems were similar in some ways, but very different in their conclusions or in the application. So I think that's a fascinating thing. You don't need to be a Bible scholar. You don't need to be necessarily even religious. Just have an interest in understanding Scripture using the most modern information that we have available. We'll occasionally look at science as it helps to understand some parts of theology. We will look also at the rabbinical tradition for these stories in conjunction with the Christian tradition for these stories. What I have found in teaching this Bible study in person for the last several years is that studying the Scriptures by reading rabbis and some of their discussion groups and their books and articles really is enlightening for a Christian. Christians view everything through a singular filter, that of the New Testament, and sometimes that skews us, and sometimes it blinds us to some pretty sublime and powerful truths that don't necessarily fit the filter that we like to put on them. So I think you'll find it interesting in those ways. It's to me, it's just fascinating. I love history, and I love being able to apply what archaeologists and historians have discovered about the ancient world to better understand the context that the events of Scripture take place in. So I hope that you will be willing to give it a try. Here's the plan as we start. This is episode 1, introduction. The plan that I have is that we'll go maybe 4 weeks at a time. I'll post a video once a week. I will aim to have it be less than 20 minutes because I want to be respectful of time. And then at the end of those 4 weeks, I'll schedule a Zoom where if you want to be a part of a discussion about what we've talked about, if you have points to make that you feel like I failed to make, or if you have questions, those kind of things, we'll get together, anybody who wants to, and we'll dialogue about it, and then we'll continue on in that pattern, either 4 or maybe even 2 weeks in between the Zoom meetings. The beauty of that is people from the East Coast to the West Coast, I'm in California, we'll pick a time where everybody would be able to participate. And I think if you are willing to be a part of that, I think it will enrich you. I want to make clear that This is not a sneaky way to evangelize people. This is not an insistence that the way that Christians think or the interpretations that evangelical Christians put on Scripture is the only way and everybody else is going to hell. I don't have any interest in those kinds of discussion. I find that Christianity can be oppressive and overbearing and unfriendly and ungodly in its arrogant insistence that it knows everything and no one is allowed to question anything. You can question all kinds of things. You'll hear that the rabbis do. You'll hear that I do, including things that I frankly don't have any idea why they came to be written in Scripture or what we're supposed to do with them. Some things just the opposite. It's quite obvious to me, and I think to most people, that's why that would be in there given the context. So lots of words, lots of concepts kind of thrown out. It's hard to talk about something that is this complex simply, but it should be a really lovely opportunity for you to study at will, right? Whenever you have the time to check in on the podcast, the Old Testament, and come away with a much richer understanding and a better historical context to understand what Judaism is trying to say about God, about life, and about how to live your life in the presence of God and for the purpose of God. As a Christian, we will look through the lens of Christianity frequently, but again, without the arrogance or without the dismissive. If you disagree or you can't see it this way, something's broken in you or you're wrong. What I know about God does not make exactitude in that way that important. What I know about God is when you try to live into the Spirit of God and your intent is to be pleasing to God and to learn from God, He blesses you in that way. And so we'll stay in that wide frame of reference. I hope that you'll join us. Episode 1 will drop next week. It'll be on the creation story, Genesis 1, up until the time of the fall. And we will be doing comparative world religions because, as it turns out, every world religion from South American jungles to Africa to the Far East, all of them have creation stories. And it's interesting how much is similar in every creation story. It's also really fascinating what is distinct and different about the Judeo-Christian creation story when it's compared to those other belief systems. And we'll look again at that next week. So I hope this brief introduction makes you interested, and I hope you'll give us a chance and tune into this podcast again next week. If you like what you're hearing today, if you like it as we go along, hit like and share. Make sure you share with your friends if it's beneficial to you. I don't gain anything from this. This is just a passion of mine that I want to share with as many people as I possibly can. So God bless you in preparation for the lesson next week. It'd be great if you would read Genesis 1 up until the time that Adam and Eve get themselves in trouble, and have that in your mind when you join next week. God bless and thank you.